Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very brief but necessary mentor refresher for the new school year. I'm Greg Griffin. I'm a recruitment and retention coach, and I represent our department for this very brief and quick reminder training. But we just would like to thank you so much for serving as a mentor this year. We couldn't do the BT program without you guys, and so we just thank you so very, very, very much. Now, I'm going to go kind of quick today because this is just a refresher. We'd just like to say that for the most part, the R&R coaches are going to serve the same schools that we did last year. Certainly, in terms of being a paperwork and licensure contact, will pretty much be the same. Alicia will still have most of the Triton area. Miss Blaylock will still have the schools that you see here on the screen, minus Bowie's Creek Elementary, which I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Miss Blackburn is going to take for this year. And just keep in mind that we can help each other. You might see Courtney at one of Alicia's schools, or you might see Alicia at one of my schools, and so forth and so on. I think we're going to try to work smarter and not harder this year. So any of us could really help you. But as a rule, the schools that you see on the screen are would be the first point of contact in terms of district support for BTs from Human Resources. Okay. So we're glad to be back again this year to help you. Here is the code for BT Central Google Classroom that we're going to be using again for this year. We found that it was very effective to get information to all BTs throughout the district through the Google Classroom that we set up. If you would like, as a mentor, you're more than welcome to join BT Central. That might be a very good idea, actually, just so you can be in the know about different things that pertain to BTs that we put in the classroom. So here is the code if you want to jot that down. You're more than welcome to join BT Central. I think that would be a really good idea, actually. We wanted to briefly let you know about our Thursday teacher talks. We held these throughout the summer. We're going to continue to hold these every Thursday throughout most of the school year. I believe this starts in a couple of weeks in September. I think it's after the first 10 days of school. And then this will continue through the beginning of April, if I'm not mistaken. The Thursday teacher talks are going to be at 4 o'clock p.m. at the Board of Education. They are not mandatory unless the principal makes them mandatory for a teacher. They are optional support sessions that will be held each week. Maybe your beginning teacher is having a bad week and they just want to come get some extra support or sound off about what's going on with them in their classroom or at their school. These are optional. They do not supplant local BT meetings. They are just additional support. We're going to encourage the principals to maybe use them as an action step for a PDP or an action step perhaps for other type of plans like monitored plans. But anyways, Thursday teacher talks, just be aware, are additional support and help for teachers throughout the year, every week, and optional. Okay, so I want to talk for a few minutes about the mentor logs, the lovely mentor logs that everybody loves so much. Just to remind everybody that BT1s have to log 10 hours per semester. You can't log 20 hours in the first semester and be done for the year. You have to pace yourself by semester. So 10 hours per semester for BT1s. BT2s need to log 7 hours per semester for a total of 14 hours for the year. BT3s have to log 5 hours per semester for a total of 10 hours per year. And Bugs Bunny has nothing to do with anything. I thought it would just be cool to see him relaxing there with a carrot. All right. So we wanted to talk just for a couple of things that we noticed when we were going through the logs at the end of the year, this in June. For one, there may be some old logs floating around that still have the demo entry for 8/22/18 that speaks about the classroom layout, learning environment, first day procedures. That was just a demo entry, but there were many, many, many BTs that counted that time. So when we totaled up the hours, they fell short by 30 minutes and we had to send them back. So just be aware that some old logs might still be floating around that have the demo entry. We don't want to count that as part of the total. I took it out of the new log. It looks like this. You can see it's 2019, 2020. So it's not in the new log. When you're logging hours, if you could please try not to log 7 minutes or 3 minutes or 12 minutes. If you try to keep it like at least in increments of 5 and 10, like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, those are easier for us to tally at the end of the year when we're adding up the totals to make sure that everybody got to their time. I know it might seem petty for us to tally and count the time, but we could be audited. We will be audited, and we don't want to have anything that's not on point during the audit. So 5 and 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, those are easy for us to tally up real quick. So try to log increments of 5 and 10 minutes if you can. Also, don't forget that you need to address the standards, the teaching standards here. So we can't log 5 hours for a BT3 of one standard. Because then maybe I've seen some people try to log work days and get all 5 hours down in that work day. We need to make sure that we're addressing all 5 of the NESA standards in some way throughout the school year. Okay. At the bottom of the logs, I just wanted to remind everybody that we need mentor signatures here, and we also need mentor initials to verify signature on PDP and True North Logic. Many of the logs did not have the mentor initials. I know that might seem kind of petty, but we want to make sure that our paperwork is on point. And so please make sure that the initials are on there and your signatures on the bottom of the logs. Also, I would like to point out that the logs for semester 1 are now due in December. The semester is going to flip. We'll be in a new semester when we come back from Christmas break. So we want to make sure that the semester 1 logs are turned in before we go home for Christmas instead of after Christmas in the middle of January. We're not going to do that anymore. All right. So I just need to talk about a couple of more forms and where to find all of our forms, and then we'll be done. I promise this is brief and harmless. Okay, so in staff pages in the intranet, to find all the forms and things, if you'll go over to human resources, beginning teachers. All right. And then my cat's wanting to cut up in the background. I knew I should have moved her to another room, but I'm going to let her sit over there and make noise because I don't feel like recording this again. If you have questions, by all means, you can email me at ggriffin@harnett. The forms are here. Okay. And the voluntary acceptance form I want to talk about quickly. Okay. Everybody does not necessarily need to fill this out. This is for those teachers that are voluntarily accepting an extracurricular duty like coaching or being a sponsor or for Battle of the Books or Science Olympiad or something like this. This does not refer to morning duty or regular duties that are assigned to every single teacher. They still would need to do those kinds of duties. It does not refer to ball game duties. It's more coaching than anything. So I don't think the mentor signature is required on this one, just the teacher and the principal. But I just wanted you to be aware of the form. All right. And then the other form that we need to talk about is the optimum working conditions form. Right here, your signature is required on this. So every single BT needs to submit the optimum working conditions form every year. So you just want to make sure that and I'd go ahead and knock this out pretty early. Just go ahead and circle BT1, 2, or 3. The LE there, this is a little tricky because lateral entry is now residency, but we still have some lateral entry twos and threes. So we'll have laterals for 2 more years, but after that, everybody will be residency. So I guess this needs to be more like maybe residency one. I'll change that later. But we want to circle this if they're a residency one, if they're lateral two or lateral three, or if they're BT one, two, or three. These are the non residency, non lateral teacher prep BTs that went to school to be a teacher. All right. And then we also want to like advocate for what this form is supposed to be about. This is not supposed to be a hoop to jump through, but if you notice that your beginning teacher that you are mentoring has a very large or unreasonable number of difficult students, for example, see how at number 5 it says limited number of EC or difficult students. You might want to advocate for them to your principal, or perhaps to one of us. I would go with the principal first. We always want to follow our chain of command, or maybe talk to the lead mentor for starters. Let's just make sure that they're being taken care of, and that the working conditions are such that it would foster a positive year for them and their students. So advocate for them if you think that their conditions are not optimal. And this form will need to be turned in pretty early in the beginning of the year. Both you and the mentee will need to sign it. And I think that's all I have for today. If you have any questions, by all means, reach out to one of us and we'll be glad to help you. And we just want to thank you again for serving as a mentor this year. And make sure you sign the mentor refresher. There's going to be a roster that you viewed the mentor refresher form. So make sure that you sign that for the lead mentor so that they can turn that in to our department. And we hope you have a fantastic year. So thank you for your help and your support. And we appreciate you so very much.